TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Hey, do you have an idea for a podcast but don't know where to start? Or do you have an already existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Well, check out WeKnowPodcasting.com. From concept development to theme music to editing to logos, WeKnowPodcasting.com is a one-stop shop for all things pod. Don't hesitate to hit us up. We're very nice.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
All right, let's talk about a sequel to an episode we talked about earlier, the Happy Christmas. We talked about Happy Christmas Volume 1. I think you landed on it being okay.
Yeah, that's basically where I landed on the first one. Some songs were good. Some songs I didn't like so much. I don't think anything was actively bad. It was just this totally isn't for me. And some songs were super mediocre. But we did end up with some cool stories about like the history of like Switchfoot, who I really dislike, but you did talk about their connection to one of your favorite bands, Five Iron Frenzy,
yeah.
and everything. So to preface this, Happy Christmas is a series of Christmas albums put out by a Christian
Nail.
record label. Yeah.
Yes, Tooth and Nail Records.
Okay.
So we'll jump right in to
Let's go
Volume
for
2.
it. And we're
Can
going to
you-
do it the same. We're going to do the same format we did last time. For those of you who don't remember, Matt kind of goes to a track, says the name of it, and I'm going to give my immediate thoughts, since apparently this is a record that Matt Kelly holds very near and dear to his heart.
Yes, and I have a feeling that Dylan, based on a screenshot I received, was not nearly as much of a fan. Although you also made it sound like you hated the first volume, so who knows?
And I didn't. Yeah, I don't
But-
think I hated it as much as... I get real
But-
rowdy on these things.
Fair. All right, so it kicks off with an original song by MXPX, Christmas Day.
All right, so in my honest opinion, MXPX is the MVP of punk Christmas jams.
Yes.
I absolutely adore MXPX's Christmas album, to the point where I actually had to buy it physically because they pulled it down from Apple Music. They re-put it back up as an EP version, but it's missing like 6 or 7 of the original tracks. So I have that. I know this song. I knew this song before you sent this to me. I know everybody points to the Vandals and people like that as like the kings of punk Christmas, but the MXPX record that this song came off of is probably, if not my favorite, it's one of my favorite alternative Christmas albums. So
Yeah.
Great start, dude. I was like, I am in. I love this song so much.
It's a great song. It's so catchy. So here's my quick story with this one.
Yeah.
Is that the first time I ever saw a local band play
Yeah.
was my freshman year of high school. I was in the TV studio. TV studio is going to come up a lot during this episode, by the way, because I have a lot of connections with these songs through that. But I was in TV Studio. The singer in TV Studio was a friend who I still have to this day, Mike Goldsboro, and he had formed a punk ska band called Franklin Submarine.
Okay.
And we were having a TV Studio Christmas coffee house, and his band was going to play. And since it was December, they opened with Christmas Day. So Franklin Submarine covering Christmas Day is the first song I've ever heard performed by a live band. So like there is a very emotional connection with the song. But even without that, it is such a catchy, good song. Like I would say, I wouldn't say it's my favorite on this album, but I would say that if you were only going to listen to one song on this album, you should make it Christmas Day by MXPX.
I will say, and this may say my feelings towards the rest of the album, this song that I already knew before you sent it to me is my favorite song on this album.
All right, off to a great start.
Yeah.
All right, so we followed up with one of the strangest covers I've heard in a bit. Sixpence None the Richer doing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah, so my feelings towards You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, we've talked about the different movie variations, but not really the songs. My biggest issue with You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch is every time somebody does it, they try to go over the top with it to the point where it almost sounds more annoying. I like this stripped back version of it, this like acoustic jam of it. It's just, you know what, we're gonna sing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and I thought it was fun. I liked the way it was done, so 2 thumbs up on this cover.
Nice. All right, so far so good. Yeah, and I've actually heard that version on like B101 a few times.
Nice.
Like I feel like that song, because it's Sixpence None the Richer, like what else did they really have going for them besides Kiss Me? So why not? Let's throw them a bone every December and like play this song once or twice. Diving into a song that I don't know if it's a cover or not, but I really have loved this song, and this is one of those songs where we talk about, I think on Happy Christmas Volume 1, it was all about the It's Always Christmas at My House kind of being like an unofficial anthem. I mean, I think this one's an unofficial anthem of Christmas 365 as well. All-Star United with I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day.
When the snowman brings the snow.
So I like it. To me, this song sounds, if you modernize the Beach Boys and gave them, and turned their guitars up to 11. It's very bouncy, it's very upbeat. I don't think it's a cover. I know, like, there are multiple songs out there about Christmas being every day. I don't think it's a cover. I've never heard this song before. Kudos to All-Star United. I thought this was a great jam.
And All-Star United, very short-lived Christian alternative rock band. Definitely worth checking out because they were like one of those bands where I wouldn't say that they had a great album, but all of their albums had some really weird stuff going on. Even in this song, you hear like a theremin in the chorus and stuff. Like they would play with some strange instrumentation throughout. So we're going to enter into the first of the tracks. There's a couple tracks that I'm not like over the moon about on this album. And the first one is Plank Eye, Jesu Bombono, the Infant Child.
Yeah, so
It's kind of slow and boring.
Yep, I seriously, my notes are yawn, almost fell asleep, not kidding.
Which is a bummer because I think that their cover of Away in the Manger was like the runaway star of Happy Christmas Volume 1.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. There's a similar song. There's another song in this album that I feel like is almost a companion piece, but is way catchier and better. I think that this Plank Eye song is I would even say it's probably my least favorite song on this album.
It's up there for me, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. I think I know what your least favorite is. Actually, I have a sneaky suspicion. But we jump into number 5. This band, I think, had one of the most underappreciated guitar players in the punk music scene, not just the Christian scene, but the punk music scene in general.
Okay.
And he shows it off while he plays the lead for O Little Town of Bethlehem by Hangnail.
So I thought the music itself was awesome. I thought it was a great, fun little punk cover. My biggest issue are the vocals. That's been one of my biggest issues with most of this record, was some of the vocals. My issue here is it sounds like we're trying too hard to be a Fat Wreck punk band.
Yeah, very nasally, very sludgy. I do enjoy Hangnails. I like the band Hangnail, but I've never liked their vocals. I like them because they have a guitarist who can fucking shred the guitar. Tooth and Nail signed bands for really strange reasons sometimes, and I feel like Hangnail was that he heard that guitar and was like, we gotta sign these guys. Yeah. Let's dive into, one of your favorite bands from the first album, Joy Electric with Lollipop Parade on Christmas Morn.
So I was like, I recognize this name. Is this the band that I talked about in the first one? And honestly, here's what I have for number 6. That weird shit I love from that first album. Dude, this is so much fun. I have not been shy about my love of electro and alternative pop, especially around the holidays. One of my favorite bands to listen to around this time of year is Family Force 5 and their Christmas album itself.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's coming. But I love this electro pop and alt pop sound, and they really go for it here, Joy Electric. Now the problem is as Matt said, stay tuned, because oh Lord, do we get a few more songs that attempt to do this, but
not quite the same.
Not quite the same.
So this is another band from the previous album. I think they changed their name between the albums. On the first album, they were just 180, and then they changed it to Flight 180. Female-fronted ska band, and I believe you liked their cover of Mila Kuiki Maha, so I'm curious how you feel about their cover of Oh Come All You Faithful.
Yeah, so I absolutely adore it. It's another song that's got that bubblegum pop punk ska sound, and with the female vocalist, I mean, chef's kiss. I really did love. I've loved both of their covers that you've had me listen to so far.
I feel like Christmas and ska really do go together like peanut butter and jelly. Like it is like that sweet, salty combo that you didn't know worked so well. But like, I am very rarely disappointed by a ska Christmas cover.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard a ska Christmas song that I don't like, besides songs that I already don't like are covered.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Now we're following it up with a band that, again, I think on Volume 1, they were like kind of your runaway, one of your runaway favorites. This is one of my least favorite songs on the album because it's so, to me, it's very slow and boring. But it's Starflyer 59 doing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
I never thought that a cover of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas would fit so perfectly on my Halloween playlist.
I know.
as it is a song that does fit perfectly with that slow, moody, hey, we're gonna take a popular song and cover it like this.
This song feels like it was written for the sad part in the middle of a Christmas movie. You know what I mean? Like this is like Kevin McAllister sitting alone in the house, like staring out the window, hoping his parents show up, and then like this version starts playing. Yep. It is the most depressing version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas that I can think of.
Yeah. Wasn't there a cover of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas? Maybe it was in Krampus that sounded very similar to this. It was at the end.
I'm sure it was. Yeah. Then we go into, so here we're going to do a quick step back into the past.
Okay.
So young Matt Kelly, every Saturday night, unless he was out doing something, which was rarely, he would listen to the local Christian radio station, because at 10 p.m. was like the Christian rock for kids part of their
Yeah.
programming. So that's like when I would find out if there was a new Five Iron album, and that's how I heard Relient K for the first time. And during their Christmas episode, they played this song, and I was like, I need to find this cover ASAP. And it is Viva Voca doing God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
God rest ye merry gentlemen.
Okay, so are you familiar with the band August Burns Red?
Yes.
Okay, so the metalcore band.
Yeah.
Their version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen is screamier, but I can't quite say there's an angrier version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen than the one you made me listen to.
I kind of love it, though, because I kind of
for
think
it.
that
I
God
don't
Rest Ye
hate
Merry
it.
Gentlemen's a boring song normally.
It definitely is. The instrumentation is very, very angry, but I dig it. I dig
Yeah.
it.
So the song that follows it is by a band called The Normals. This is what I was talking about with the Plank Eye song. This is Peace Child, O Come Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I feel like it falls into a similar vein as that Plank Eye song from earlier, but it's just, it sounds a little bit poppier. The guitar sounds crisp and clean.
Yep.
And it's catchier. It's way catchier than the Plank Eye song.
This song reminds me of some of the slower jams off of Relient K's Christmas album. Honestly, this song reminds me of that. So good stuff. I love everything on that record. So this song specifically is really good.
All right. Now we're probably, I would say this is probably, if not God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, Fan Mail doing I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus is probably my favorite song on this album. I'm going to just put it out there. What's the Dylan thoughts?
I hate this fucking song no matter what style it's in. So they did a great version of a song that I just can't stand. And that's my feelings. We were just talking about how ska and Christmas go together. That's my feelings on Real Big Fish's cover of Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. I hate that fucking song. So even if you cover it the best way possible, I'm still gonna hate that song. So
Fair enough.
I totally understand where you're coming from and why you like it. I don't like this song in general.
So I wanna give you a fun fact though that might explain why that Plank Eye song sucks so much compared to
nice.
compared to Way in a Manger. Plank Eye, the lead singer and primary songwriter of Plank Eye, quit the band to form Fan Mail, and the band continued without. So technically, what you're hearing with Fan Mail is the guy who wrote the Away in a Manger cover.
Okay.
A couple years prior, and I'm like, makes so much more sense when you think of it from that lens, because it's like, how did Plank Eye get so slow and boring? Oh, because there was only a guitarist and a bassist left in the band, and they just had to figure shit out.
Yeah.
I think you may have implied this next one already. We got a band called Norway doing White Christmas.
The sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. There's never been
Okay, so listen, I'm reading this note for note. I have often shared my love of electro and alternative pop on this podcast, especially in the Christian music scene. But this cover is an absolute fucking abomination. And I love you, Matt Kelly, a little bit less for forcing me to listen to this. This song is awful, dude. I love White Christmas. I adore the song White Christmas, no matter what version. But what the fuck? It's like if you took Aqua, or what was that other band that you made me listen to?
Toy Box.
Toy Box. If you took Aqua and Toy Box and removed all the fun parts out of it and just had the like fist pumping bass and just put like a regular guy singing behind it.
I wouldn't even say it's a regular guy. It sounds like if they typed in the lyrics into a computer and just recorded the computer reading the lyrics off.
Yep.
They're like,
there's
perfect.
nobody singing. He's just speaking the lyrics. Oh my god, it was not good, man. It was not good.
I don't have a ton of love for that particular cover, but I do have a ton of love for the next cover, which is Element doing Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
So this song was another one where, like, again, the instrumentation ruled. There's something weird about the vocals. I don't know. Some of the people are coming off sounding a little boring or bored. Not boring, but bored as they recorded these. Again, I love the idea of a punk cover of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, and I do love the cover. I enjoy it, but I don't know. There's just something. There's something off. Like, they're not turned up enough. I don't know.
No,
what it is.
so Element was always this weird band. I took a long time to warm up to Element, and they used to be under the name Element 101. But for a similar reason, I was like, this girl just is like whispering her vocals, and it drives me nuts. But as I got older, I was like, I really like that she's kind of trying to do. She's actually really trying to channel like a Letters to Cleo type vibe. She actually went on to marry the second lead vocalist of Further Seems Forever, and formed a band with him called Action Reaction, which is actually pretty good. She was like she was like a teenage Matt pop punk crush. You know, like she was out there with her pixie cut, and she always had her chain wallet and her like star, you know, the belt, the little belt with the stars drawn on the sides of it and stuff. Like, she was the definition of like indie pop punk girl of your dreams.
Yeah.
So I feel like that also put some blinders on me a little bit. But so I implied this before we hit record, but the next track is the Deluxe Tone Rockets with Christmas or Santa Claus is Back in Town.
Well, it's Christmas time, baby.
All right, so this cover fucking smacks, dude.
Yeah. It's so good. It's the best version of this song ever.
So I love Santa Claus is Back in Town. I think it's a great song. I loved when they had Kurt Russell do it in the Christmas Chronicles. I love this song. And this band basically took this song and was like, we're going to do a doom metal / stoner rock cover of this song. We're just going to take everything, turn the guitars up to 11. It's super crunchy, and this song is definitely getting added to my playlist.
So I have a dream in my brain.
Yeah.
Where I'm at a show and they let me sing any song I want at Christmas time.
Oh, Matt Kelly, I can see it.
And I'm going up there, but I'm going up in character. I'm going up beard, looking haggard, maybe a fake drink in my hand and a cigarette. And you just, because it sounds like Santa just came off the hardest night of his fucking life.
Yeah.
And this song doesn't sound, when he's singing, it doesn't sound like he's coming to deliver you some toys. He's coming to deliver that deep dickin'. Yeah. Like, he's like this is the sexiest.
We're the first Christmas podcast to use the phrase deep dickin'. I can almost
But seriously, the way
that.
he sings it, well, it's Christmas time, pretty baby. Like it's so
good, dude.
My version of this was when I was in TV studio, we used to film these little shorts that we would play before the morning announcements. And I always wanted to film a skit set to this. And the idea was going to be that we were going to have someone sitting on a skateboard holding like reins, and two other people would be dressed as reindeer in the front, and they would just be being pulled through the school hallway tossing gifts at people.
I love it.
And no one would let us film it. I was like, come on, it'd be so good. This song's perfect for that.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, I did get to use the following song for a video, though, in TV studio, and that is House of Wires, Caroling, Caroling.
Will somebody please take the synthesizers away from the Christians? Because, like seriously, this is what I imagine a Christmas album by the Skids and Letterkenny. This song is what I imagine it would sound like. I used to love this, and this is awful. This is the song that I was like, nope, this is my least favorite song on it. It's not even fun weird. Like, it's just...
let's see. All right, when we do sometime when we do Volume 3, which probably won't be until next December, but when we eventually get there,
Yeah.
Joy Electric is the only electronic band on that album.
I love Joy Electric.
Yeah, so they stuck around.
It's just
Then
so
this-
weird. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, some of these bands are. I feel like Joy Electric is really good at what they do. And I feel like these other bands are like, well, they made it to this point being fucking weird and electronic. Let's try the same thing. And it
So
doesn't work.
Here's what happened. This is my
Yeah.
theory on what happened, being like a pseudo Tooth and Nail historian.
Yes.
So Tooth and Nail Records for a really long time was this melting pot of all these different genres.
Yes.
And then I think eventually they were like, all right, we've got to break this shit up a little bit.
Okay.
And they created 3 additional record labels, right?
Uh-huh.
So there was BEC Records, which I forget what that stood for, but that was where it was like, these are Christian bands. They are not bands that have Christians in them. They are like the Supertones and like these bands that are like, we want to go and preach the word of God through rock and roll. And they kind of shifted a bunch of those bands onto that label. Like they were like, okay, that's where we're going to house the hardcore. These are Christian bands for Christians.
Yeah.
Then they were like, we got to separate the metal bands from the punk bands now. So they made Solid State Records and they shifted like
Yeah.
August Burns Red and all those bands over there. Then they were like, we need an electronic label to put Joy Electric on. And I think they were just like, well, we can't just have a label with one fucking band.
Yeah,
And so then they
that's
just like
true.
mass signed anybody with a keyboard
Good
to like
Lord.
put out a record because there was no noteworthy albums that came out
No,
under that
and-
label.
And what sucks is like, again, I've shared my love of this genre. I love the weird electronic stuff. I'm a crunkcore apologist. That
Yes, you are.
like,
Yes,
groups
again,
that
stay
work
tuned for a
within.
couple weeks from now.
Yeah, I can't wait. But for real, this
It's bad.
wasn't good.
It's
not
bad.
good.
I think that, so I did use this for a video. We need it to film something for Christmas. So I drove around and filmed lights. Like I was in the passenger side and someone was driving around town and we were just filming houses with lights. And I just threw this as the background noise on the video. It's perfectly fine for something like that. But like if someone plays this at a party, they are not your friend.
Nope.
It's bad. And then we end with something that I, to this day, can't decide is actually funny or just funny because I heard it when I was 12. But it's the Lost Dogs doing the Chipmunk song.
Let's roll one.
Overproduced and complicated, and it's just like
All right, you lost dogs. Are you ready to sing your song?
And it is such a weird concept of covering this song in which the members of the band keep quitting and are being replaced by robotic versions of themselves. And then it implies of a robotic takeover at the end of
It
the
does.
song.
It does. I can totally agree with you. Dylan now says, man, it just makes me want to listen to the original.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I would have heard this cover when I was a little kid, I would have been like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is so fun.
I will say credit where credit's due. I don't know too much about the Lost Dogs. They definitely weren't normally a Tooth and Nail band. I believe they were actually a Christian band
Yeah.
from the 80s. But I mean, they can harmonize.
Yeah.
like the harmony, the actual song sounds perfectly fine.
Yeah. This reminds
It's the bits
This
in
reminds
between.
me of so one of my favorite covers of 12 Days of Christmas is the Taking Back Sunday cover, which basically 90% of that cover is them doing like weird bits. But I heard that cover like when I was like 13, so I thought it was like super clever, and I'll listen back to it now and I'll be like, this is still really fun to me. It's not like a song that, like, I'm not putting that version of 12 Days of Christmas on if I'm in like a car full of people. Like, this is really fun to me.
It's kind of like no, this isn't even a weird comparison. This is actually a perfect comparison. It's kind of how I feel about like Bob Rivers. Like, I grew up on the first Twisted Christmas album. So,
Yeah.
like, I have an unapologetic love for that album, even though there are things in it that very much make me cringe now.
I can't
But if you
stand
play
it.
me any of the other, if you play me literally any of the other Bob Rivers stuff that I didn't grow up listening to, I'm like, this is trash.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, I can't stand any of it. But I can understand if it's something like you grew up on, yeah.
It sounds like you liked More Than You Hate It, which is good.
I
You
did
sent me
like-
a very scary screenshot where I'm like, oh god, he hates everything.
No, I didn't hate everything. I think the problem is much like anything in life, the bad stands out to me more than the good.
Yes.
So like the songs that I was like, what the hell am I listening to, stood out to me more than the songs that I was either like, this is okay or this is great. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get some new additions to my Christmas playlist from this album, and I'm very excited to add them. I think what I keep learning every time we go into these is that your extensive knowledge of Christian bands is probably on the same level of my extensive knowledge of Psychopathic and Magic Ninja Entertainment Records.
Yep.
So like, it makes me so happy because I'll sit there and have these conversations about those bands and that record label with other people, and they'll be like, why the fuck do you know this? But then like I hear you talk about these things and I'm like, no, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
it is
it's
the
just
same thing.
Yeah, you bury your life into like a large chunk of these bands, and then it's off to the races. And quick plug, check out this week's episode of One Hit Thunder, where we talk to the director of the movie Electric Jesus, as well as the song music supervisor. And if you haven't, go check out the movie Electric Jesus. Dylan, you'll fucking love it.
Electric Jesus.
It takes place in the 80s, and it's about a group of kids at a youth group who love Stripers so much they decide to go on tour with their own Christian metal band.
Is the movie available to watch yet? Or
at this time, yes. As they are listening to this episode, it is available.
Awesome.
All right, well, happy Christmas, Dylan.
Happy Christmas, Matt.
Welcome to Y2K.
Have a real Merry Christmas, you stupids.
Enjoy your stupid hula hoops.
Hey guys, how many musicians does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
All of them, because they are now unemployed and they need a job. Get it? Oh, yeah.
Even the trombone players.
That was a good one.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holly, have a great holly, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.